Hello. So I'm going live today. Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen and if you can see me clearly. Let me know in the chat. All right, good. So today I want to talk something that's so interesting, and I think a lot of people get this wrongly. So it's about inbound sales versus outbound sales, or even both, right? Which one should I focus on? And this question actually comes from one of my students that asking me this question today. And I just want to talk a bit deeper about this and sharing this with you guys because I feel this is so important. Even though maybe you're not a closer, maybe you're not a salesperson, or maybe you just appointment setter, or someone want to get started become a closer, or maybe you're a business owner yourself that you kind of want to start building your sales team. Now, which one that you should focus on? This is going to make a big difference in your result, in your revenue, in your sales. So pay attention in the next, I don't know, I think 15 minutes or so that I want to share this with you guys. And drop me in the chat, basically, if you want to have other questions or things that you want to get more answer, so I can get you more definite and accurate answer for you that can help you with your sales. Okay? So for all of those that you don't know me, my name is Andreas. I am from Malaysia, and I've been generating more than $3 million USD in the past 6 to 7 years now. And a lot of people actually asking me a lot of sales questions and how I get a lot of opportunities, how I can ramp myself up to become the sales manager, sales director, and how that I do my sales in outreach strategies. Then that's exactly the answer, because I do a lot of outreach. And a lot of people that don't do outreach, they're just waiting for the opportunities. That's why it's always struggling, because you're depending on something else, right? But if you can do outreach well, you build relationship, you talk with strangers, you can do follow up, and you are providing value to them. This is going to change the game in sales, because you're not only being perceived as a salesy, that a lot of people, even maybe you are thinking doing outreach is salesy, right? But what if you doing outreach is the right way, that you're providing value, finding problems and solve the problems? You will be seen as one of the expert, right? And a lot of people don't know how to do that. That's why I want to share my story, share my knowledge that I have, so you can implement that and get the better result or the best result that you can go, right? So let's go into it. Basically, inbound sales versus outbound sales, right? For all of you that has been in the business, or maybe you are someone that actually getting started, doesn't matter, you always need sales, right? And inbound sales, meaning that the sales that come in from the marketing side or your content creation side, right? Which is like, it's waiting for someone that messaging you inbound, right? Inside, right? But outbound sales is like proactively following up or reach out to other people. It could be cold, could be warm, doesn't matter. But you are reaching out first. That you're not expecting people to message you, but you're messaging other people. That's called outbound, right? Which one that is more important? Now, let me tell you this secret, right? Before I do my outreach strategies with my students and coaching them, I always thinking inbound is the best. And that's true, because inbound, you get the positioning right? People booking your calendar, and the marketing do the work, the heavy lifting, and you just need to close deals. But here's the problem. My 3-year-old, my son, already start doing it. My daughter start doing it, right? Because it's just serving. Like, they're already interested. They just want to know more. They just need to answer some question, and you can close them. You can collect the money. That's it, right? But with outbound, it is the art of interruption, because you are reaching out to other people that you'll be seen as what? Salesy, right? You'll be seen as interruption. So a lot of people don't like it, right? Because interruption is not good, and salesy, of course, nobody like it, right? This is because people doing it wrongly, right? What if I tell you that if you do it correctly, then you can add value, you can really give so much solution oriented, and you can book more appointments than you can think of, and you can close them as a result. And here's the best part, is that for the inbound, right? For the inbound situation, you're always dependent, right? Because you generate it from the marketing side. You generate it from effort that is relying on a platform or relying on someone else. Example, if you use media buyer, you're running some ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, YouTube ads, you're depending on what? On that platform, right? But you don't have full control upon it. Even if you have the best ad strategy, but you will still have to test things out. It is always up and downs. Even in generating your appointments, it is not as consistent as full control, because you always have to look at that data, right? So put your comment below. How many of you actually, comment right now, how many of you that you are doing some inbound, but you are kind of struggling to get consistency, right? It's because it's always up and down. It's not always consistent. But how about the outbound? Outbound strategy, right? It is always being seen, because you can always have full control. Who is the one that actually taking control of your sales conversation right now? If you're only doing inbound, let's say the prospect forget to reply and you're not reaching out to them again, not doing follow-up, not doing outbound, then you will just lose the opportunity. And here's the fact, more than 67% of the opportunity lost in the marketplace because you didn't do follow-up, because you didn't do enough outbound outreach, right? But what if you do enough outbound outreach, you can recoup the 70% revenue that lost, because you're not only targeting the top 3%, right? For inbound, you're only targeting to 3 to 7% on the top buyer's pyramid, right? For all of you that don't know what buyer's pyramid is, I'll just draw it real quick here. So this is like a pyramid, and this is like the top 3%, people who are ready to buy from you. And then this is the 7% that they're considering to buy from you. And there is the 30% below that is open, but they just don't know you yet. They just don't really know your solution. They even not really sure about the problem. And the bottom 30% is that they're not aware of the problem. And the most bottom 30%, this is the one that will not buy from you. Anything happens, they will hate you. They will not buy it. They're just not your customer, right? So if you add this up from here to here, right? This is like, how much is it? 70%. 70% of the revenue that you can recoup with outbound, because you are actively reaching out to them, right? Because you are able to nurture them. So you're moving them from up, right? From bottom to up, because you know how that you can convert more people. But imagine with the inbound only, right? You will only targeting this top 3% or maybe 7% with the ads that running. But again, at the end of the day, this top 3 and 7%, you cannot really save them if they are not interested yet. And maybe you could by retargeting and stuff, but still, it dependent on the marketing effort, not the sales effort, right? But if you're doing outbound outreach yourself, you have full control upon it, because you can always refine your process and you can always reach out back to them again, unless the person block you, right? And you're too annoying. That's why you cannot do it wrongly. You need to do it correctly. You need to do it right. Then only you can recoup this 70% of revenue. But if you do it wrongly, then you will not be able to, at the end of the day, you will not be able to get to that 70%. So what is the right outbound strategy? First thing first, with the outbound, you gotta have to know who is your audience. Because if you don't know your audience, right, you're always talking to nobody. You're always talking generally to everybody, and nobody will appreciate you because it looks like not personalized. So always personalize your message. Personalize your message, right? If you're not personalize your message, then other people will see that you're just spamming people. How many of you get the message? And drop me in the comment right now. Type 1 in the chat if you actually get people that messaging you and says that, hey, I'm from the XYZ company. The reason I'm reaching out is because we are helping people to get blah, blah, blah. If you want to book a call, right? How many of you get that? Type 1 in the chat. Right. So if you are just copy paste your message because of your script, it's not personalized and nobody likes it, right? So instead, you should personalize it by like their post, right? Sending some comments first before you send any DMs, or and then you can add friend or follow them. Then only the last part is messaging, right? If you're sending DM, example, right? Or if you're doing calls, right? You should do some research. You know who they are first before you call them. Don't just like call 200 people in a day and you're expecting one appointment set, right? But what if I tell you, if you do it correctly, you can even make 50 calls and make 2 appointments from the calls if you do good at it. But you need to know the skill. You need to do it right? So do your research a little bit better, right? That's the first thing. And also number 3 is that you always want to make it unusual. So I have this concept that is called USP, right? This is unusual, simple, and personalized. So remember, if you are doing not the unique selling point USP, but if you're doing outreach, you always want to use this 3 concept. U is unusual, right? Meaning that your message cannot just be generic, cannot be just like being seen as another salesperson, that it's just salesy, that's just average, but you have to be seen as one of the expert in the marketplace. So that's where the U come from. It has to be unusual. It has to be simple. 5th grade student language pattern, right? Tonality, don't be too crazy like a professor. and a lot of people have been doing this wrongly, like they're typing the words that is not conversational. For example, like, I will help you to skyrocket your business with this efficient appointment setting system that already proven. That is just too long and it's not simple. You need to use the words that is simple, like when you're talking to your friend, as simple as it is, right? And then P is the personalization. So always relate to their situation, their life. Don't just go over with your script and don't care about them. That's why you always want to care about them 80% of the time, and then 20% only talking about you if there is any problem that we can solve. So the concept here with the outbound is that if there is no pain, no problem, right, then don't go anywhere to the appointments, right? If there is no pain, no appointments. If there is pain and problems that you can solve, that's why you need to qualify them first before you close them, before you book a call, right? If you're not qualify them first, what is the function of setting up? What is the function of reaching out? Why don't you just use the bot to just send blast DM? Like, I know some of the agency in the world that have been doing this. They're creating like 10 fake accounts on IG and Facebook, and they just DMing people with 1 fake accounts can create 4 profile, and then they just DMing people randomly, and that's what they're doing. Like DMing people, they don't care about the person, they just pitching first and then qualifying a call. But even they sending like thousands of messages in a day, they will still end up not getting the result that they want. The simple reason is because they're just struggling to have a genuine conversation with people, right? If you don't have genuine conversation with people, the appointment gonna be suck, right? So always have a genuine conversation first. That's why my approach is, even if you can send 30 messages in a day, 50 messages, or even 20 messages in a day, in 1 month you will get 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients. But you need to gotta be consistent. So the big game here, if you get a quality right, you also need to get consistency. You need to be consistent with your messaging, with your activity. Because if you're not consistent, today you do 1 message. The next day you got to do 5 messages. The next day you do 10 messages. So if you're not consistent, it's hard for you to measure yourself. And remember, everything that you can measure, you can improve it. But if you don't measure it, you don't improve it, you cannot get to where you want, right? So here's the thing that I want to tell you guys, that if you just always doing yourself inbound, so put in the chat how many of you just doing inbound right now, just focusing on the inbound. If you're a business owner, or if you just want to get started just focusing on the inbound, let me know in the chat. Type 2 in the chat if you are. Okay. So if you are doing outreach, doing outbound, type 1 in the chat. Now I want you to type 1 and 2 in the chat, because the reason is you just don't want to focus on one aspect, right? If you do good in outreach, but you not do good in inbound, you still cannot close the deals. But if you do very good in inbound, you cannot do the outreach, you will lose the 70% of the revenue, and you only recoup the top 3 to 10% that you have. So if you can really do good with this concept, I would like you to just learn from Outbound. The reason is because if you do good in Outbound, inbound will be easier to close. Why? Because you can qualify them first, right? Then only close. But a lot of people, they just skip that qualification. They just see the outbound as the art of interruption and just direct pitching people. That's why the outbound is not having a good market right now. I mean, the good facade, right? Other people seeing like outbound is salesy and or so on, because they don't know how to build relationship. They don't know how to genuinely ask for the connection and everything. So I know some people that they start doing the outbound, but they do it wrongly. I want you to get it right. So there are two ways you can do it, right? You do it from what I shared today. I want you to start implementing that. That's the first step, the first way. Implementing this. If you are learning from me, but you're not implementing the things that I share, it's not going to give you result, right? It's like talking, I want to eat this spaghetti, but I will just wait and I will not eat it. So you will not know how good it is, right? So take action, just do it, right? I share with you the way, the step on it, right? The second thing is that if you want to, you can join my $9 program. This is the monthly $9, where you can join the weekly coaching call with me, so I can guide you like this personally, when you can ask question personally to me on the group session, on the weekly Q&A coaching. And you also can review your calls. You can send it to me, and there's a role play platform that you can practice yourself inside there. And this is the biggest leverage you can get, because if you're just learning without practicing it, what will happen? You know the answer, right? But if you are practicing it and you are really put it into practice, you will have a big difference, massive difference in your result. That's the same thing. And the fourth thing is that you also will get recommendation from me. If you do good, you need to prove yourself first in the program, okay? If you're committed, you're coachable, you're learning it, you are doing it. If you do good at it, I will recommend you to one of my networks so we can work together. Because let me tell you the secret behind this. I need sales team that I can also work with other companies that they need sales team. So I'll coach you personally, I'll give you the resources, and I'll make you successful on that opportunity with other companies if you do good. All right, so I'm looking for this talent. If you want to apply to this $9 program, I'll drop the link in the chat right now, okay? So you can go to this link and just enroll to this $9 program. You get all the needs for you to master the outbound, the outreach closing correctly. So I will see you inside, and let me know once you're in, okay? All right, so that's it for today's live. Let me know if you're getting value from it. Drop me your comments, drop me your question. And I want to challenge you actually to implement this, and let me know how is that going with your outbound DM strategy. All right? And I'll see you soon inside the program.